Welcome everybody to Fantasy and Frames Wednesday. This is Dynasty 365. I am your host, Stacy Perez. We have got Tyler Howell and Chris Burns here with us tonight as we are talking our tight ends tonight, our free agent tight ends to be coming up this next year, and how that all relates to your Dynasty teams. Let's go. All right, everybody. Sorry to keep you all waiting a little bit. Tyler had to get his glass of Riesling. He couldn't go on without it. But we are ready now. Sure it is. You keep telling yourself that. One day you'll graduate to big boy wine. It's fine. Chris, what is on tap for you? What do you got? What do you got in the bar?
For me, I am drinking a screwdriver because I need the vitamin C because I'm still getting over this, and I get rid of orange juice in the fridge.
There you go. There you go. I've got my little glass of Pinot Noir. Again, if any of our listeners have any wine connections, we are more than willing to start a sponsorship here. So, just send us some wine. We drink it on.
Here for a tattoo.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, don't forget to drop your comments and questions over into our chat. We will get to them tonight. First things first, though, I want to hear what everybody's favorite part of the week was. Christopher, you're up first.
Yes. So my favorite part of the week was watching the New York Jets be eliminated from playoff contention, getting beat 30-0 by some team down in Florida. I mean, I just like it when teams from the AFC East are eliminated. It just feels good to me. Some people say it's hating, and I agree because I do hate everybody in the AFC East. But that was my favorite part of the weekend.
That's fantastic. That was a fun game to watch if you were a Miami fan, not so much if you're a Jets fan. Tyler, what was your favorite part of this week?
My favorite part of the week was the team finally getting the monkey off their back and getting the highest quality win on their schedule of this season. So congratulations to the Miami Dolphins for getting the best win so far yet this year. I'm really happy for them. They really just took out the New York Jets, the vaunted New York Jets. So good for them.
Tyler, you're too young to have so much hate in your heart.
Yeah. Maybe he should be drinking a Riesling. Get something sweet over there.
Cheers.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry. I wasn't going to say it. And then I look back at their schedule and I'm like, wow, they really haven't won any good games. So I just went for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. You players on the schedule. Coming into the season, thought the schedule was going to be tough. It has not been tough. And, well, the teams that we have played with winning records, we lost those games. But we can't be like the Cleveland Browns, and just winning all these games that no one's expecting you to win. Like so. Oh. That Buffalo game when they kept talking about like nobody wants to see Buffalo in the playoffs. I don't want to see the Browns in the playoffs. I mean, you talk about a team that just wins games. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They somehow, they lose dumb games like to the Steelers. They lost to an underperforming Seahawks team, yet they beat the 49ers and the Ravens. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. You can't feel good playing against those guys, especially with Joe Flacco at the helm now. They got a real quarterback.
I'm not even going to talk about it. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to have this conversation. The most I will say about the Browns is I think Kevin Stefanski should absolutely be at the top of the conversation for Coach of the Year.
All right.
There's a lot of other names in there that might be more deserving, but he should be one of the top 3 guys.
I can't argue with that.
I had to go pick up Joe Flacco this week because both Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud have concussions. So hopefully hopefully he continues his winning ways.
I think they should do pretty well this week. Texans defense has been okay, but yeah, we'll see. I think they're just going to keep throwing the ball 40 times a game because they can't run the ball right now since they have a single starting lineman from the beginning of the year playing. Just one.
Just
They
one.
don't have the starting center, left guard, left tackle, right tackle, backup right tackle, backup left tackle, backup left guard, or backup right guard. Sorry, go ahead. Stacy, what was your favorite?
First off, hello to Jerry over there in the chat, guys. Again, just a reminder, if you have questions, comments, throw it on in there. We will get to them. My favorite part of the week was definitely not watching my Packers just get absolutely handled by the Bucks at Lambeau. That was not fun. My favorite part though was probably unexpectedly that Monday night game, Drew Lock leading the Seahawks back to beat the Eagles. And then his interview afterwards, like, can it just be like sappy for a second? That was just precious. Like, I watched it and I was like, God, am I a Drew Lock fan now? Like,
For sure.
Really sweet and good for him. I mean,
Drew Lock
like
rap,
his career. Yes, he does rap. That's right. What's up, Chris B? We see you over in the chat. Brian Flores, coach of the year in there.
Don't get me started.
There is some video of him out there, Drew Lock out there rapping. I don't know how to find that. You can probably just Google that, Drew Lock rapping.
Yeah, Young Jeezy.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so that was a good time.
Drew Lock over Jameis Winston.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Like the context with Jameis like rapping to Ludacris like in front of Derek Carr as Derek Carr is just absolutely just going through it in that moment was pretty fantastic.
Drew Lock's a lyricist. Jameis is a performer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you just apples and oranges. You can't compare the two. So I promise, guys, that we are going to talk about some free agent tight ends this week. I know you guys are clamoring to hear all about Adam Troutman and Austin Hooper. But don't worry, we will get to them soon. First thing, though, I want to do a quick game because I just saw this on TikTok while I was waiting for our show to start. There are 8, and this is a trivia question for you guys. And those of you in the chat, you can jump in too. There are 8 teams in the NFL whose names end in ERS. You have 30 seconds. Go.
Oh, wow.
8 teams?
8.
Chargers.
Yes.
Packers.
Yes.
Man. Yikes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's tough. Commanders.
Jorge's screaming into the void.
Raiders.
Buccaneers.
Steelers, yes.
Are we not done?
Nope. You've got 2 more left.
Damn it.
Oh my. Can I get credit for Ravens with ENS?
No.
49ers.
49ers. Yes, one more. Worst team in the league.
Panthers.
Sorry, Panther fans. Yeah, that's a fun little game, huh? It was a little TikTok challenge I just saw. Jerry wants to know, we have a quick question. So let's get Jerry's question before we go on over and talk about tight ends. Jerry wants to know Swift, Bijan, or Hubbard this week. You guys go ahead. I'm going to pull up the calendar or the schedule because I do not have it memorized. So
holy hell. So the Eagles have the Giants at home on the Monday afternoon game, the Christmas afternoon game. The Falcons are 1 p.m. They have the Colts visiting them, and the Panthers are hosting the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
For me, it's going to be DeAndre Swift. They are playing the Giants. The Giants are the Giants. And, I trust him the most. I don't trust anything like in Carolina. So I'm sorry, Hubbard, he's been like shining the last couple of weeks, but I honestly cannot trust that team at all. And when it comes to Bijan, I trust the Falcons less. Arthur Smith, I just can't do it. So give me Swift.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you there. What did Bijan have this week? Like negative points if you were in a PPR format?
It's crazy.
Something like that, like 0.4 or something. Yeah, it was terrible.
I mean, I'm still going Bijan. I mean, his finishes in the weeks prior to this disaster of a game against the Panthers, RB9, RB20, RB3, RB13, all in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So I know this left a really bad taste in people's mouth, and deservedly so, but he's still extremely talented. I would say he's probably the best offensive player on that team outside of maybe like Drake London or Chris Lindstrom.
Or Tyler.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Smith.
I'm still going with Bijan, man. I mean, he got 3 targets, 1 reception.
Yeah.
The 3 weeks prior to that, 7 targets, 5 targets, 6 targets. So
yeah,
I know it's tough. But I'm going Bijan, even though Chuba Hubbard, the Packers' run defense is trash.
Yep, it is.
But he's
probably.
Yeah.
Even with the Eagles facing the Giants, I say Hubbard probably has the best matchup, but I'm going Bijan.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Bijan is by far and away the most talented. Like, my knock on Bijan is his head coach.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I tried to talk some sense into him, guys. It just didn't, he didn't listen. So
how dare you?
I tried my best. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about Arthur Smith. I mean, I don't know how you can just your job and still be employed. I just don't understand. Oh man. All right, let's talk some free agent tight ends. Let's do that. As promised, guys. So this is our one and only show with the free agent tight ends. There are 9 of them, so each of us are going to take 3 tonight, and we're going to talk about them, their careers, and what their situation next year could mean for your dynasty team. So I'm actually going to start us off tonight, switch it up a little bit. I'm going to talk about Big Bob Tonyan, Robert Tonyan, former Packer, current Chicago Bear. He is 29 years old, undrafted out of Indiana State. Did you guys know that? He was undrafted? Did not. Do you also? Didn't know. Does anybody, including those of you listening, does anybody know who or what the Indiana State mascot is?
The Sycamores.
Did you know that, or did you look at the show sheet?
I knew that because one of the greatest basketball players of all time went there, Mr. Larry Bird.
Oh, okay. I did not know
Bob
that.
Wooden did also.
Okay. All right. Was not aware. Yeah, sorry guys. I only got so much room. I've got baseball, hockey, football, like basketball, there's not enough space. So anyway, he signed with the Lions in 2017. Career earnings, because you guys know that's one of our favorite stats here, $12 million, all paid by the NFC North. So he has played for the Lions, Green Bay, and now Chicago. Hopefully he'll sign with the Vikings just to complete the division. Next year he can go back up Hawkinson. Career stats, he has gotten 81.7 reception percentage, which I thought was pretty good. 1,500 yards, not so great. 18 career touchdowns. His best year was in 2020. That was, if you remember, if you're a Packer fan, that would be Aaron Rodgers, one of his MVP seasons. Tonyan had 668 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 11% of the total targets on that offense that year. He was 3rd in yards, 2nd in touchdowns on the team. Both, of course, Devontae Adams was number 1 in those categories. Obviously, that's going to be his outlier year. So this season, he is the backup to Cole Kmet in Chicago. He's got on the season, guys, not in one game, on the season, he's got 58 yards and 0 touchdowns total.
What?
Which is, yeah, exactly. Hasn't had a target since week 9. There's not been a game where he's had more than 2 targets this year. Basically equates to 2.7% of the total target share this season. 5.8 fantasy points total, not average per week, total this season. Last year he was averaging 3.5 per game. So not sure what's going on there, other than that there's just a really great connection between Kmet and Fields. If you guys have been unfortunate enough to watch any of the Chicago games, I say that because I'm a Packer fan and we don't like the Bears. So just as a comparison for the stats with Cole Kmet, Cole Kmet has been on the field for 84.8% of the snaps, whereas Big Bob has been on the field for only 24% of the time. Look, you're not drafting him in any format, whether it's Dynasty, Redraft, Best Ball, you're just not doing it. Monster season came with Aaron Rodgers. Justin Fields are fun to watch, but you're no Aaron Rodgers, right? He's got the connection with Cole Kmet. I just don't see any difference in production happening for him, unfortunately. I'm not sure where he's going to sign next year. And honestly, I don't really know that it matters fantasy-wise for our purposes. I always loved him when he was a Packer. Fun guy to watch. Obviously, we're not talking about that kind of stuff, but just fantasy-wise, because that's why you're listening, you really don't need to worry about Robert Tonyan. I'm sorry. Sorry, Big Bob. I feel like we're going to say that a lot tonight about people. So just in advance, blanket apology to all the tight ends out there. We love you. We love your position. Godspeed.
Yeah. Tyler's not apologizing to anybody.
He's not. Tyler doesn't care.
No, I was going to say something about we love your position, but I'm just going to
No, don't. Mind out of the gutter. Out of the gutter. It's a family show, Tyler. It's a family show. I don't know where that came from. Chris, talk to us about the backup to Michael Mayer.
The backup to Michael Mayer is one Mr. Austin Hooper. His career earnings so far is $36.3 million. So at the end of the season, like that 36.3, that's a pretty good career for Mr. Hooper. Mm-hmm. And he has a lot of that to give thanks to Cleveland for making that happen. Hooper right now, as you just said, he is currently playing for the Raiders, the backup to Mr. Strong Jaw Mayer. He came into the season, he signed a 1-year, $2.7 million contract. And right now he's playing out, this is his 8th year out of Stanford. He was drafted in the 3rd round. And so Hooper, his career has been kind of it starts off kind of slow in Atlanta and he kind of moves up. And then he ends up going off in 2018 and 2019, earning him a big payday in Cleveland in 2020. Unfortunately, ever since he got to Cleveland, he really hasn't done much. It's he started off at Cleveland, the beginning of the season. He was doing decent, and he played 13 games. I don't know if some injuries or whatever slowed him down. And Tyler, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was he was ascending, and then he kind of plateaued, and then it just started the slow decline we've seen this past few seasons. This year,
he was a catch and fall down guy. He could get open decently. He had 0 run after the catch ability. Catch, fall down, and now he's starting to lose some of his ability to get open. So he has no other facet of his game that is plus.
Yeah, that's tough. That is in line with why you see the decline in production. This year he has 16 catches, so he has 16 more catches than I do this season in the NFL for 154 yards. The Fantasy Pros expert consensus ranking right now for dynasties, they have him currently as their tight end 46. That is way down on the list. That is so many people that we're having ahead of him, and I can't say that I disagree. Moving forward, he projects to be a role-playing tight end, if he goes somewhere else. But you can't expect him to provide steady production, I don't believe, going into his age 30 seasons. In dynasties, I am all about selling him. If you can, sell him to a dreamer. There might be a dreamer out there that's just he just hasn't had a fair shake. He had a rough go of it with Josh McDaniels and then Mayer being there. So he goes somewhere else. He might do something. I really think that he will have a better, a more productive season almost anywhere else in the NFL than, in Las Vegas. But I'm getting rid of him. That steady decline is too steep. And there's so many other tight ends that I would rather have than Michael Mayer that are younger and have been more productive more recently. Not Michael Mayer, Austin Hooper. But yeah, Michael Mayer too.
You leave Michael Mayer alone.
Just prophesying about Michael Mayer's future career.
I'm sorry, Michael Mayer. I was not calling the end of your career before it got started. I apologize.
Oh, at least he has a good jawline. Tyler, you want to know? Look at you putting questions in the chat over here. Tyler wants to know, speaking of tight ends, would you all start Njoku over Kelsey? I think I would. Yeah.
I think it depends. Yeah. Is Taylor going to be at the game?
Ooh. She's been at the last few games, though.
Yeah, I'm starting Njoku.
Yeah. I think I would do Njoku. He's just been hotter recently.
He has. And like I got to start him just based off that run last week. Like that was impressive. Like he had me standing up and cheering for the Browns, which I don't know if that's ever happened in my life. No, I did cheer for Gary Barnage. He was my dude.
Gary Barnage. Oh,
Yeah.
you don't have up in the background.
Barnkowski, baby. Yeah, I need to. Damn it, I don't have Barnage today. Could have thought it's a tight end show. Man, I'm slipping.
Come on, slipping. Njoku and Kelsey have the same amount of touchdowns. They both have 5 touchdowns. Kelsey's got slight edge with the yardage, and as far as fantasy points, Njoku is top 7 with 12 per game, and Kelsey's got 15.8. So not a huge difference.
The league that I'm looking at is I have a full point tight end premium, and Njoku has cleared 30 points the past 2 weeks.
You got to go with the hot hand. Go with the hot hand, man. Go with the hot hand.
All right.
Do it.
It's going to be a Cedric Tillman game now, but that's all right.
Oh, Cedric Tillman. We like Cedric Tillman.
I love Cedric Tillman, man. I'm not kidding. Like, I think
over here.
He's stealing snaps. He's stealing targets from Elijah Moore. He's looking good. Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell us about your tight end, Harrison Bryant?
Oh boy, Harrison Bryant. This was like the worst pairing. I've just been absolutely obsessed with Harrison Bryant for no reason at all. I love the guy. I love him as a player, even though in reality, I know he's not really going to do much fantasy-wise. But let's give you a little background on who Harrison Bryant is, since most people probably don't know or care, and I can't fault them for that. 25 years old. He's going to be 26 in April. He was drafted by the Browns in the 4th round out of Florida Atlantic, where he won the Mackey Award. The Mackey Award is best tight end in the country. He was a unanimous All-American. He was first team All-CUSA. I led the team in receiving. So he was really good in college. He was very impressive, very productive. He's a solid athlete, 6'5", about 240, ran a 4.73 40, 32.5-inch vert. So he's not a poor athlete, but he's not great. He's a good player. He just hasn't had the opportunity to shine. He's been on the same team as David Njoku his entire career. But to be honest, Sam Laporta aside, the tight end position has always needed time to develop. It's a hard position to play. You have to know all of the jobs of the offensive lineman and be able to run routes like a receiver while knowing where all of the receivers are going to be. It's just a very difficult position to play. Will he ever be a big-time fantasy football producer? I don't have very high hopes for it. I'll be very curious to see where he lands in the offseason. He's likely going to sign some kind of maybe a prove-it deal or a 2-year, I don't know, $6 million deal somewhere. But he's not someone you're going out and actively trying to acquire. He is a red zone maven, though. 12% of his career receptions are touchdowns. The 86 career receptions, 10 of them are touchdowns. Kevin Stefanski loves drawing up plays in the red zone for this guy. He always manages to get open. So I'm hanging on to a little hope. Am I actively going out to acquire him? No. He's an add-on to bigger trades for me. So if someone has Harrison Bryant, I'll look to make a trade of some consequence and add Harrison Bryant on. So are you trying to acquire him? No. Is he nice to have on the back of your roster just in case? Sure. So I want to see him succeed.
Nice. Jerry has a question that's Browns related. So I want to get to that before we move on to our next tight end. Can they get out of the Watson contract? Tower, that's for you.
No.
No.
No, they sure cannot. So he's going to be on the team for another year. He just is, no matter what. The dead cap is just absolutely the dead cap is the size of the cap.
Yeah, $64 million next 3 years.
No, that's his cap hit, brother.
Oh, you're talking about, yeah, you're right.
If you got rid of him, his dead cap is like almost the size of the NFL.
Yeah, you're right. It's $200 million, $200.9 million.
Yes. So can they get out of it? No, they cannot. After next year, like we could be looking at a oh my God, why am I forgetting his name right now? Brock Osweiler deal, where they're literally adding draft capital to a team to take him off their hands.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I mean, he's on the team. He's the Browns quarterback. So short answer, no, they're not getting out of that contract anytime soon.
I just pulled up that contract and
oh yeah.
Oh,
shout out to that agent.
It's like burned into my brain.
Yeah, oh man. Yeah. His agent is David Mulugeta. I don't know, I'm probably butchering that.
Mulugeta.
Yeah, good for you, brother, though. Like, good grief.
Yeah.
Athlete first. It was a desperate move by a desperate franchise with a desperate owner.
Somebody calculate what 2% of that is. All right.
Yeah, he was more desperate than David Tepper.
Ooh, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let's talk about something a little bit more pleasant. Dalton Schultz, right? Dalton Schultz, 27 years old, 4th round pick out of, again, so we get 2 Stanford guys on this show tonight so far, unless there's other people from Stanford about yet. Yeah, Cardinals. That was 2018.
Cardinals.
Yeah.
Not plural.
What?
Cardinal? It's not plural.
It's not
Cardinal.
Cardinal? No, it's not.
Yeah, their mascot is a tree.
Yeah, I know. I know it's the tree.
Yeah, it's the Cardinal.
What?
It's not plural.
You guys are messing with me. That's not
true. No, we're not.
It's just singular. It's one cardinal.
The Stanford Cardinal.
That's why it's in a tree? Because it's just one.
The tree is the cardinal. It is a cardinal tree.
I thought they had some little red cardinal like sticking out of the tree or something. No,
that's the Stanford S.
Is that? Oh, okay. I don't watch college. You guys know this. I don't watch college football. All right, whatever.
Anyway, we're gonna do college mascot trivia for you next week, Stacy.
Can we please? Though that would actually be kind of fun. Anyway, God, I lost my train of thought. Anywho, he's a Texan now. All right. He's always been in Texas. Drafted by the Cowboys. And now he is with the Texans. $22 million career earnings for Mr. Schultz. Career stats, 2,866 yards, 25 touchdowns. 2020 was really the year that he kind of, saw him really kind of come on. But 2021 was his actual breakout season where he had 897 yards, 8 touchdowns. So far this season, he has got 615 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has got 14.3% of that target share this season with CJ Stroud, but he has been on the field more than Colin Zundell, obviously before his injury, with 62.4% of the snaps. He's really kind of providing that tight end safety blanket for CJ Stroud, in his rookie year. He's averaging 10.3 points per game in a PPR format, which is really important because it's pretty tough lately to get a tight end into double digits on average. This actually puts him at 11th overall in the tight end position. For the future, I would think that Houston would want to re-sign him given that connection that he's got with Stroud, what they're building there in Houston. Brevin Jordan's still on the team, but he's been on the team for a while. He was there before Schultz got there. If they really were that enamored with him, they wouldn't have gone out to sign Schultz. Dynasty value, for me personally, he's in my top 10 or top 12 tight ends this year. It's a hard position to have consistent production. If you have him on your team, you're keeping him on your team. I don't see any reason to go off and try to ship him off and get somebody else just yet. If somebody's trying to get him from you, I'm not giving him up for anything less. What do you guys think? I said second round. You guys disagree with that at all? I wouldn't give him up for anything less than that. Tower's on mute. He's talking into the void.
Yes, I sure am. I certainly wouldn't give up anything less than wouldn't accept anything less than the second round for Dalton Schultz. No. There's absolutely there's no benefit to it.
No. Absolutely not. So one of our fun ones to talk about this week, surprise, surprise, I gave him to myself because that's what happens when you are in charge of the show sheet. Oh,
it's fair.
That is.
Very fair.
Tyler, you're up now. Talk some Gerald Everett.
Oh, Do I have to?
You do. You do have to.
All right. So
Charger fans
30,
clamoring for this information.
yeah, there's Charger fans out there clamoring to stop paying him. So he'll turn 30 in June. He's kind of he is who he is guy. Like he's not going to come out and have this big season. He's probably going to be semi-productive and on fringe fantasy relevant for like the next few years. However, he's just always kind of benefited from being the sharpest knife in the spoon drawer throughout his entire career. He's just, he's kind of like the last person in the bar at 2 a.m. We all know why you're there, and you're gonna get some production, but it's not gonna be pretty.
It's closing time.
He's only eclipsed 500 yards once in his career. He's only eclipsed 50 receptions once in his career. He signed a 2-year, $12 million contract with the Chargers 2 years ago after, oh my God, I can't remember who drafted. The Rams drafted him. He played second fiddle to Tyler Higbee for a while. The Seahawks signed him for a year where the Seahawks are actually where he had the best year of his career, going over 500. And the Seahawks said, nah, we don't have any use for this guy. So they let him go. I mean, Everett can – I will give him one benefit of the doubt here is if you are short a tight end right now and you are pushing for a championship, I would go spend a third on Gerald Everett. Keenan Allen, I don't know how much he's going to play the rest of the year. The last 2 weeks, Gerald Everett has had 8 targets both weeks. He was on my waiver wire column that I wrote this week. The last 2 weeks, his total targets have equaled all of the targets that he had from week 7 to week 13. So he can, if you're in a PPR league, especially a tight end premium league, he can be useful for you for the next 2 weeks through the end of the year. Outside of that, I don't think he's going to be very, very useful. He will probably be a roster clogger, but he will have fringe relevance here and there. So he's not a guy that I want to buy. He's not really a guy that I want on my roster because he is a roster clogger. So there's just not a whole lot more to say about Gerald Everett. He's not very fantasy relevant, and I don't want him on my team.
Speaking of Keenan Allen, I think that I saw that he was not at practice today. So
yeah, there's no reason for him to play.
No. Easton Stick. Just, no thanks. No thanks.
Poor guy.
Who's our coach? Who took over? Who's our interim coach? Do we know?
Oh God. Yeah, we know it's some dude. Like I legitimately never heard of this guy before. Let me Google it. You are gonna have that. It's Giff Smith.
That's right. That's right. Or is it Jiff Smith?
Yeah, it's Jiff. Giff. Giff Smith.
Yes. Oh, that's unfortunate. Someone didn't name that. That sounds like a old South, like Southern, like old money name. Like that's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, his parents lost a fantasy football league.
Yeah, like I bet he went to like Ole Miss or something like that. Like that's
with Jim Bob Cooter.
Yeah. I'm gonna look that up, or some. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up. Don't worry, guys. All right, Chris. I've got one tight end on the Patriots. You've got the other. Tell us about Mr. Gesicki.
Michael Gesicki. Let me tell you about this guy. This guy has it. I mean, like IT. He has it. I really don't know what it is, but we'll talk about it. So career earnings, $22.3 million, thanks to the franchise tag. And so right now he is currently the tight end 2, maybe the tight end 3, maybe the tight end 4 in New England. Like, I feel like Browns outproduced them, and some guy that I never heard of, like he outproduced them. So right now, what is Gesicki? We really don't know. He was drafted in 2018 out of Penn State in the 2nd round by that team down south. I don't know why I can't ever remember who they are. And he will be an unrestricted free agent like in 2024, which will be his age 29 season. Coming out, everybody, I mean, they were telling me that Gesicki is an athletic freak. They're like, this guy is just superb, when he gets out there on the field. And let me tell you, I am one of the few people that can honestly say I've watched every snap of his professional career up until this year. So when he was with the Miami Dolphins, because I watch all Miami Dolphins snaps, I watched every game he played. And athletic freak is not what I'd use to describe him. So this guy, he makes routine catches look like they're the most impossible thing that's ever happened. He does like this crazy stuff, but then he will like catch a pass that he's not supposed to and bail people out. He's bailed Ryan Tannehill out so many times. I swear Tannehill's throwing the ball away and Gesicki does something crazy. And you're like, how do you do that? But like, as you saw Tyler doing his dance, the gritty, as terrible as his gritty is, it's probably the best thing that's happened this season. So there's been a belief that the Gesicki, he was misused in Miami, and that as soon as he got away from Miami, that he would thrive elsewhere. Because like his first years and everything, like Flores and that garbage like offensive scheme that these people were rolling out was terrible. So everybody's like, oh yeah, he can't do anything in that. Mike McDaniel comes in, and a key tenet to Mike McDaniel's offense for his tight end is you have to be able to block. It's kind of like a light version of what they're doing out there in San Francisco. And Gesicki and Kittle, the biggest difference between them two, Kittle can block. Kittle is like a sixth lineman. Gesicki can't, so he didn't work. So they ship him. Unfortunately, he goes to New England. He chose New England. And this season, the only thing besides that terrible gritty, he's been doing his best Austin Hooper impersonation, trying to be irrelevant, with his 21 catches for 182 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 awful gritty. I think his wife might divorce him if he keeps doing it. Maybe that's why he stopped scoring touchdowns. So moving forward, Gesicki is not going to receive a massive contract. I don't even know if he's really going to get a mid contract. The best case scenario for him, though, is if he goes to a team that has a system that actually utilizes the move tight end. And that's a tight end that goes out there in the slot, does everything. He's more of a pass catcher than an inline blocker, because Gesicki is severely deficient in blocking inline. He just can't do it. In dynasties, he's basically free because nobody really wants the guy after you've seen how terrible he's been this season. So if you're thinking that the off chance that he might end up somewhere, kind of like Tyler was saying with Harrison Bryant, like a throw in to a trade or scoop him up into somewhere else, because right now, this time of year, playoff teams are locked in. They're not thinking about Gesicki because he's not going to help them win any chips. And, non-playoff teams, they're already checked out. Like they're thinking about the Super Bowl parties and, they're ready for the holidays. They're not really in it. So you might can actually steal him and put him on your roster somewhere, only if you have the space. Do not drop an ascending young talent to pick up Mike Gesicki, because odds are he might be who we think he is. So all you're doing is he are who we thought they are. So all he is right now is, a hope. You think that maybe you believe that, oh yeah, he is this athletic freak and he could be something somewhere else. But yeah, don't sell the farm to get that. And that's just Mr. Gesicki. But I love the guy, man. He's a great dude. He really is a nice guy. Like I met him once.
Did you really? How'd you meet him?
I was down at Hard Rock.
Yeah.
So down the game, yeah, signing autographs and everything. So he came and he was talking to us. I mean, he really is a really like genuine, like, dude. He's kind of goofy and he's about 12 inches taller than me. It's crazy. Like he's a massive human.
I always forget how tall you are, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm only 5'8".
Oh my goodness. Okay, so didn't I say Give Smith, right? Sounded like a Southern like old money name. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I pulled up his Wikipedia page. He's a native of Marbleton, Georgia, and played defensive end at Georgia Southern. He is in the Georgia Southern Hall of Fame. He has coached at Arkansas, Georgia, Georgia Southern, Tulane, Georgia Tech, and then in the NFL. So I called it right here. Old Southern.
Marbleton. Is that like the good side of Stone Mountain?
I don't know. Let me click on it. Let's see. According to Wikipedia, it's a city in Cobb County. Here's all of its history.
That's not far from Gator, is it?
I don't think so. Gator, get on there and tell us where. It's Cobb County. That's in Atlanta, though, right? No,
that's north of it. That's north of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of DeKalb. I don't know. I don't know Georgia's.
Yeah, you are thinking
very
of
Who
well.
knows? Who's to say? But anyway, Gift Smith, Southern dude, just like we said, because now we'll move on to.
I'm just calling him Jim Bob Cooter.
Jim Bob. Well, that's where is Jim Bob nowadays? The last I heard from him, he was the Detroit OC. Obviously not anymore.
No, I think he's still an OC. I don't know. I'll bet it. Let's move on.
Yeah. All right. You look that up while we talk about Hunter Henry. All right. So second, or what we could actually say first tight end in New England, that'd be Hunter Henry. He is 29 years old, second round pick out of Arkansas, the aforementioned Arkansas. I don't know if he was there when Gift Smith was there or not. This was in 2016. He has $54 million in career earnings, guys. $54 million. Good for him, man, right? 5 years with the Chargers. He is in his third year with New England. He has historically been I won't say maven, I'll say a red zone target. In his career, you want to know where Hunter Henry is? He's in the end zone getting ready to catch a touchdown. He's got 38 total in his career stats. He's got close to 4,000 yards, 38 touchdowns. He is averaging about 485 yards per season, which is pretty decent for a tight end. So far this season, he is 15th overall in fantasy PPR scoring and points per game, which is 8.6. Which is pretty sad state of affairs if you're 15th overall and you're only getting 8.6 points per game, but such is that of the tight end position. He leads his team in targets this year, barely edging out my boy Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas, who you would have known about before the draft had you been listening to our show, because we talked about Demario Douglas back before the season started. Over Hunter Henry's last 2 games, he's got over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Did you guys know that? Over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games for the.
He's done a lot. I know
woeful
that.
Patriots.
I'm curious what percentage of his production has occurred in the last 2 weeks.
He actually started out pretty hot and then kind of tailed off for a little bit, and has recently kind of picked it up the last couple games. So listen, he's a solid vet presence, right? Especially with kind of the younger quarterbacks that they've got going in there now with Zappy and Mac Jones. Look, as far as his dynasty value, I love him in best ball. I think he's a great, second or third tight end to pick up in a best ball tournament, something like that, because you don't have to think about when to play him, right? Because you never know. He's not a guy that you're going to be consistently throwing in your lineup unless you're really desperate. But in best ball, you don't have to worry about that. But we are here to talk about dynasty. So for dynasty purposes, I don't necessarily love him. He is getting a little bit older. You guys know in dynasty, we're all about youth. Over here, you're likely not making him a centerpiece for a trade. He's going to be one of those guys like Tyler just talked about that you're going to kind of throw in to sweeten the deal a little bit, either to get or receive him. Wherever he lands, whether he stays with the Patriots, whether he goes somewhere else, he's probably going to be providing more on the field value than really fantasy production. Just one of those guys, like I said, getting a little bit older this year. But if you're going to get him, it's not going to be in dynasty. You might take a flyer on him in a best ball. So that is Hunter Henry, folks. I don't think he does the gritty. So Mike Gesicki's got that on him.
We need to have a gritty off with all these tight ends.
Oh my gosh, all the white tight ends doing the gritty, oh my gosh. We need more.
The Richard Mendenhall gritty concept.
I don't, guys. We don't have time to talk about that. Listen, we do not have time. That's got to be a whole nother show that we have that discussion. Although I don't think they're making the cut on the all white team. That's fact. I think there are better options at the tight end position.
Yeah, tight end is one of the few positions that the white folks still have the the edge on.
Is that why Kyle Pitts hasn't been relevant in 2 years?
We figured it out.
David Njoku's there. He's holding it down.
Yeah, Njoku is representing.
Yeah, he is. Oh my God.
He's like a real life prince from Africa or something like that.
That's what I heard. Is that true?
Oh, chieftain. Yes, thank you.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable.
Tribal chief. That's what his nickname is. he does the Chief slam when he does the touchdown.
I don't think I've never like voluntarily watched a Browns game, so maybe that's why I haven't seen it.
Yeah, his Twitter handle and Instagram handle are Chief Njoku.
No way. Is it really? I'm gonna look that up. That's awesome. All right. Somebody who's not quite as cool. Chris, I'm so sorry. Adam Troutman.
All right, Adam Troutman. And guys, this isn't going to take long because who really wants to know about Adam Troutman? I mean, Sean Payton, maybe. Troutman, he's in his 4th year, tight end in Denver, drafted in the 3rd round out of Dayton. Do you know their mascot, Stacy?
Wait, hang on. Yeah, the Flyers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Broncos. So the Broncos acquired him from the Saints. They gave up a 6th round pick. They sent that to the Saints. They got Troutman and a 7th back. And some may say they overpaid. Troutman this year, 19 catches, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns on the season. If you think maybe that's just like a down season for him, for his career, 79 catches, 791 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's really not that guy. He came into the league, had a lot of hype, and everybody was thinking that he would do big things in New Orleans, and it just hasn't materialized. Even in Denver this year, when Peyton brought him over, he hasn't really done much with Dulcich mission time and that very thin tight end room. Troutman, he'll be hitting free agency like in his age 27 season, and I'm not sure if we know if Troutman's good or not, but I know I have no interest at all for him in dynasties, like none. I will gladly avoid him. And if you pick him up and he thrives, good for you. I will still sleep like a baby, knowing that I followed my process and did not waste time on him, because I believe he is 100% a roster clogger that you would never feel comfortable starting, even in a plus matchup. So, in Denver, like I said, the competition was very thin, and he just really couldn't ascend. So, Troutman, buy at your own risk. Sell if somebody's foolish enough to take him, but I will have nothing to do with the young man. But I hope he has like a great career.
Yeah. I mean, those tight ends seem to like stick around for years, and just like, I mean, look at Hunter Henry over here with his $53 million. It's wild.
It's true. And as Tyler said earlier, it takes a while for, like, traditionally, it takes a while for tight ends to actually like pop, so maybe he's one of the, old school bloomers. He's not a Sam Laporta.
Yeah, who is Sam Laporta other than our own Sam Laporta? Love him. Winning me winning everybody. I think everybody in fantasy should like send Sam Laporta thank you notes, like really after the season. Like he's gonna win people so much money this year. Like it's unbelievable. Tyler, somebody who's not winning people a lot of money. You've got Noah Fant.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about this one. First, let me say we've covered most of the mascots on the ship, right? Of all these guys and where they went. We covered Indiana State. We talked about Stanford. I think we hit Florida Atlantic 2 weeks ago when we talked about Devin Singletary. Yep. Stanford, Gerald Everett, South Alabama. I didn't know this one. I had to Google it. Do either of you know it?
It's not like South Alabama. It's not like Southern Alabama, or it's just like South Alabama.
South Alabama.
Oh,
I've heard it before, because didn't Tyreek hang out there for a little bit? I can't pull it right now. But.
No idea.
Jaguars.
I was gonna say I have some that probably aren't accurate, but we don't need to waste the time with that.
Yeah. Mike Gesicki's an easy one. Penn State. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, Noah Fant, Iowa, go.
Hawkeyes.
All right, that's an easy one.
I almost said Cyclones. That's Iowa State, right?
That's
Iowa State.
Close.
So I'm actually intrigued by Noah Fant. I really, really am. We've already done the discussion about tight end takes a while. Believe it or not, it feels like Noah Fant's been around forever. This is his final year of his rookie contract.
Really?
So he's about to get his first actual contract. I'm excited to see where he lands. We've spent 2 years talking about how much of a unicorn freak Kyle Pitts is athletically. Noah Fant has a higher RAS score than Kyle Pitts. He is a freak show.
What the RAS is.
What?
Remind people what the RAS score is.
RAS is the relative athletic score that I cannot remember for the life of me who does it, and I'm sorry. I will look it up and make sure that I say it. but it's relative athletic score. They grade each and every player based off different things such as hand size, arm length, height, weight, bench, vertical, broad jump, 40-yard dash, 20-yard split, 10-yard split, shuttle time, and their three-cone time. So 10 is the highest score you can get. Kyle Pitts was 9.65. Noah Fant was 9.89. The dude had a 40-inch vertical leap at almost 6'5" and 240 pounds. The guy's a freak show. So I am intrigued. He's cleared 500 yards 3 out of the 4 years in his career. He's cleared 600 yards 2 out of the 4, not counting this year. This year's not over. It doesn't look like he's going to get there. He's simply had the misfortune. He's been on bad teams, or he's been on teams that just don't use the tight end, like the Seahawks, which I was kind of surprised that he was included in that Russell Wilson trade when they made it. I think they just needed kind of a warm body that wasn't named Colby Parkinson. So,
Wow.
Sorry, no offense, Colby. My bad, man. I'm sure you're a good dude. So yeah, he's just been on bad teams. He's been productive though. He's been more productive than most of these guys, even if it hasn't shown up on the fantasy sheet. His yards per reception in his career are 11.1. Typically, tight ends are around 10. And I think he would just be a beneficiary of getting the Evan Ingram treatment. Evan Ingram, he wasn't playing the right position for the New York Giants. The New York Giants were using him incorrectly. They didn't know how to, and the Jags figured out, and Evan Ingram's been very productive this year. And I looked at the teams just out of morbid curiosity. There's like 10 NFL teams with like an actual answer at tight end. Like if you just look through the teams, you'd be like, okay, that's a long-term answer. That's a long-term answer. That's a long-term answer. Like no one has a long-term answer. So I think if someone has an offensive coach that is creative enough to use Noah Fant in the right way, maybe have him play a power slot role rather than actually playing tight end, I think he could really benefit from that. So I actually would be looking to go out and acquire Noah Fant on the cheap. I wouldn't spend a second for him. I don't think he's worth a second. I don't think it's reasonable to ask a second for him right now. But I'd throw him in and back of trade. I'd do a 3 and a 4, something like that, because I really do think he could do some big things next year. So acquire him if you can. Do not overpay.
Thanks.
Hey, Tyler, got a question for you. Do you know what Mike Gesicki's RAS score is?
It's probably like 10.
9.95.
Wow.
Yeah,
relative athletic score, I found it. Developed by Kent Lee Platt at MathBomb on the Twitter.
Thank you. I did not want to leave that out because like it was in the back of my head. I knew it. I've said it so many times and it just wasn't coming to me.
Yep. There we go. All right, guys. Well, this has been fun. I've enjoyed talking about our tight ends. Guys, we are going to be taking a week off next week for the holidays. So Merry Christmas to all of you guys out there. We will be back talking about our wide receiver free agents to be following Christmas. Guys, make sure that you are giving us a follow over here at Fantasy and Frames on our YouTube channel so you're getting notifications of all of our shows when we're going to be on. You can find all of us on Twitter. You can find Chris over at Dynasty Deviant. Tyler's at FF Tyler Howell. I am at Stacy_Perez83. Guys, Fourth and Frames podcast is up next, so stay on this channel. Give those guys a listen. They've got some great info for you. Don't forget that we also have Shoot the Gap for your IDP content. We've got waiver wire shows and articles coming out every week, even into the playoffs. And also our Fantasy and Frames pregame show on usually from Sundays to 9 to noon, although we are going to be on a special time this week to help you get ready for all those games that are coming up on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So everybody out there, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will see you in a couple weeks.